back with some more miniature painting. Wanted to come at you with LoreCom miniatures. We were talking a little bit about these guys last week. We have a homebrew campaign that I'm going to be featuring and using his models for, and I wanted to keep reviewing. So for folks that don't know, LoreCom Miniatures is an Etsy shop. I was happy enough to get to know the owner of the shop, and he's got some Grimm fairy tale minis, and we're doing a homebrew campaign where we're kind of mashing up Disney and D&D. So we'll start making the characters and starting to build part of the campaign. I started talking about last week a little bit of the storyline for it. I don't want to go too much into detail because if some of my players are going to be watching, you'll start to see us playing that. So I wanted to keep the mystery alive, if you will. But at the same time, I wanted to start getting all the minis painted because we're going to have such notable characters as, of course, Alice in Wonderland, the princesses, some great fairy tale creatures. So I wanted to keep that very alive in the world of D&D. So we'll, in this stream, we're going to look at his models, and I want to give a shout-out to LoreCom Miniatures because he's been so awesome and nice. And I actually have to get up a review for him, which I need to do that actually later today. But the idea is that he's been super, super nice and awesome, and I love his minis. I love his style. They have a very, I think the way to describe them is oh, geez. I'm making a lot of bad mistakes here. Some of my paints are not fully closed, which is really bad. But yeah, he makes a lot of really cool, like, twisted whimsical models, I'll call them. So this is Alice, and you can obviously see that this Alice is a little on the different side. The Alice here, of course, is, he calls these ugly princesses. And so you can see they do not follow the same suit as the, the Disney princesses, although Alice is not part of the Disney princesses. But, it's not your typical kind of fairy tale, I guess is the... better way to put it. So there is going to be some twists and turns in some of these models. So you'll see what I mean. So they have a little bit of that dark whimsical tone versus what you might be expecting. So they are a little bit more on that dark, like, whimsical side. But he's got some insanely cool models. He's got, Belle, the Beast, all of the cast of Alice in Wonderland. And if you want to go back and watch that first video that we have after you're done watching me tonight, that's where I painted up the, I did the Mad Hatter, the White Rabbit, and, what else did I paint? Mad Hatter, White Rabbit. What the heck else did I paint? Mad Hatter, White Rabbit, and the Ugly Duckling. So a bunch of fairy tale misfits that I painted up for you guys. And what I love about these models too, so these are, of course, they are D&D scale models, so they are in that D&D scale. So what is enjoyable about them is they're very quick to paint. I think in the last stream, I don't normally get through like 3 models in one stream, but I was able to do that. So they're super, super fun to paint. And going back to what I was saying before, he has, it is very true that he has that very whimsical very whimsical cartoony style. So some of the models are in this kind of vein. All of the Alice models are a little bit more on that whimsical cartoony side, which for me, I extremely like that, because I like that they have a I like that they have a little bit of that whimsical style, which I think is pretty cool. And again, I was using Gilliman Flesh for the flesh. I'm going to jump back in with the, I wanted to call it Canary Yellow, which is definitely not. It's Iodine Yellow. For, of course, Alice's trademark hair. Because I realized from the last time I painted this, she had a little bit more hair on there. And I'm gonna do some accents in the hair. And I don't know, I am torn between how I want to do Alice's model, because I mean, it screams, obviously the Alice model screams like mental issues, because she's like licking the side of a butcher knife and is like super crazy. So she does not strike me as an all there kind of character. So I may go a couple of different ways with this. Whoa. Nice. And again, we're doing LoreCom miniatures. I'm so glad that everybody's here. I always have more fun when I have more people watching, and please don't hesitate to jump onto the chat. I've been so amazed by the chat lately, and I'll probably keep talking about it for like weeks to come. But I still cannot believe that Dave from Mini Wargaming jumped into my stream last night. That was crazy. So yeah, if you guys are fans of them, I had a very interesting sneak peek. Or not sneak peek. I had a very interesting chat guest last night, and it was super awesome. Dave was super kind and cool, and you know, he what I was amazed by with him showing up was he actually thanked me for supporting them, because I am a Vault member with them, and he was like so super cool and super nice, and that was just awesome. So it was just super cool. I know Alice is supposed to traditionally have like a white. I'm using the Apothecary White on this. I know she's supposed to traditionally have like a white gown, but I don't know. It just she's too maniacal, and it's too different of I want it to be a little bit on the dirtier side. Hello. Speaking of LoreCom miniatures, hello, sir. How are you? So I'm back at it. We're painting some more of the Grimm's Fairy Tales models, and I don't know how I'm gonna go with this Alice. Like I said, I'm thinking that I'm gonna go a little bit more on the maniacal side, because she looks crazy. So that I know this is based off like more Grimm fairy tale versions and stuff. But this particular figure reminded me of I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a game a while back of there was like a computer game, and I'm trying to remember. It was based on Alice in Wonderland, but it was what it did was it took the standpoint that that the girl that you played, which was Alice, was actually in a mental institution, and she was possibly, quote unquote, hallucinating all of it. Oh, nice! I did. I saw that. I saw my package is ready to ship. I saw that, and I was just saying for you that I have to get on those reviews because I can officially leave a review for the first thing that you sent me, and I really appreciate, and I'm looking forward to the next package coming. I'm like super excited. Paints and stuff. Sorry guys, hold on. Alright, so this is the part of the stream where I get lots of paint on my hands because I am actually trying to sorry guys. Alright, I'll just have to use it like this. I'm having a little bit of a painting pot emergency. I'm trying to get through it. My blue just like decided to be a very weird blue. And it was like not coming out the way that I wanted it to. So I'm like trying to figure this out. Whoa, alright, there we go. Yeah, when I was painting this the last time, I don't know, I guess I must have did like a very light coat. I didn't realize how light the coat was that I did. So I'm just trying to like even it out now. But I'm also this particular blue, and I hope it's not because the blue that I got like dried out. Because I could have swore I opened up a new blue on the last stream, but I just see a little bit of messy painting. Oh, and I missed. No, that's okay. Yeah, this Alice figure, it's also like coming off of the tacking that I'm using, which is really annoying me. I'm gonna have to scrape this bottle because like a lot of these colors, I think I said this on the last stream, I am like desperately trying to like really use a lot of colors till like the end of their life. So like a lot of these are like at the very bottom of the paint buckets. So I'm like super, and that blue that I was using is the Athermatic blue, which I think I bought some more, so I can get it if I need it. But I'm just trying to figure out like where I want to go with the color scheme for Alice, and I always forget. What Alice has. I always forget what her color of her bow is. Wonderland, Disney. I think it's black, if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, her bow is black. Black is always the scariest color that I have to paint. I always get scared when I have to do black because black you know, if you mess black up, oh, nice. Great. Yeah, it's almost like the humidity in this room has gotten, like, I have to, like, water down all my contrast paints. They seem like they're, like, not... Oh. Ah. I may take her off the handle just for a minute because yeah, it's a tough paint because they're so, that's such a small detail. And sometimes with the contrast paints, like, for the most part, the contrast paint is working very well. But when you get into sometimes smaller details like this, the contrast paint is not always the best. It can sometimes be not the best tool, because what ends up happening is that the details are so small that the that you don't get the results you want. All right, now her figure. Okay, let me just. Yeah, so everything else is white. She's got a very basic, because she's from the era of Disney where they did very basic ink and paint jobs. So they didn't paint with too many colors, because when inking animated features started, to get it done in record time, they would do that. So we're just going apothecary white. That's why I wanted to make something off-white, so that it wasn't that. And also, like I said, I want to make her a little grittier, because, like, it's supposed to be like an adventuring campaign. So I want her to have, like, a little bit more grit to her. And then I'm debating if I'm gonna go with like alright, the handle's not working out tonight. Not for this. If I'm gonna go with actual, like, blood on her, and I probably will, just because that would look kind of cool. So what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to base it in that apothecary white. I'm just trying to find, yeah, there we go. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of touch up in the blue because that doesn't go all the way down. All right, and then, nope. I'm just watering down my paints so that I could do oh, wait. She's got striped socks. Okay. Ah. All right, I'm having a little bit of trouble with this model today. I usually don't paint like this, but you know what it is? It's that I should have adhered her to something a little bit better, and I didn't. I let the model not be on a handle. I should have. I really should paint with a handle. All right, she's got striped socks. The striped socks were a throw off. Yeah, let me get her back on here. She's got to be on that. What I should have done, I should have based them, which I didn't do that. I actually wanted to paint them freely because I wasn't sure what basing I wanted to do with them yet, because again, I was trying to work out how I wanted them to be painted first. So I kind of fumbled it. Oh, jeez. All right. I'm not washing my brushes. I'm doing some bad things. So a good rule of thumb when you're painting is always wash your brushes, because that dry paint is going to mess up all of your painting and it's going to screw up your whole flow. Yeah, I'm doing my my signature messy painter day. It's funny. Part of it too is that I'm also I also too made a little bit of a mistake because I'm jumping from fantasy models to Warhammer models. And so last night I was painting a 40K model, tonight I'm painting this. We're going to try this tactic. Let's see if I can get her to stay on her base a little bit better. So that is also something that I just am doing to myself, which is not bad. It's just that it makes it harder because in my head I'm still thinking about the I'm still thinking about the 40K models that I'm painting. So in my head, I'm I'm thinking of an orc in space in space armor while I'm trying to paint Miss Alice over here. So my head is it's jumping between a couple of different ideas. So I have to be careful when I'm painting because I'm I have to jump into that mode where I'm all right, I'm in my fantasy zone. I gotta paint her with my fantasy cap on, thinking about what are some of the best ways for her to look. Yeah, skin tone I always have to go back and do again, and I always do a mix to like flatten it a little bit. But we're getting the basics on here. All right, let's do it. Let's get her bloodied up. So that'll start to make some of the model. You'll see the difference once I get this done. Once I get some blood effects on here. Because in our campaign, I have a very, very different style for her. She's not going to be a very she's not going to be a very sane character in the story. So she will have a little bit more of a gruesome element to her, at least from what I'm thinking. You know, so basically, in our homebrew campaign, think of her as Alice, Alice pushed on the edge. So Alice kind of giving in to the cast of Wonderland, or the madness of Wonderland. And again, I have to give a shout out to LoreCom Miniatures. Just the overall amazing detail on her. It's just like super cool, super awesome. And like I said, it's just trying to keep those socks on, man. Oof. Yeah, there's some hard painting angles on this. Just a tiny bit. But yeah, now this, if you guys have a throwback, there was a Alice in Wonderland cartoon. There was a TV show, a live action like TV show about on Disney. And I'm sort of pulling a little bit from that. Just a tiny bit. Whoa. Yeah, some of these are very, very, very tough angles. Whoa. I didn't realize she had striped socks. I didn't notice that until I started painting her. So the striped socks are a challenge. It's a challenge level paint right there. Just a tiny bit. I mean, she already looks pretty cool, but and I appreciate you guys being with us, and don't be a stranger. Definitely, like, let us know what you guys are thinking in the comments, and I'd love to hear what you're working on, what projects you're thinking about. And again, if you guys can jump on to Etsy, you can check out LoreCom Miniatures. You can check out all of his exciting, really cool miniatures that he has. He's got some selection of stuff, so definitely check him out. Give him your love, give him your support. I have not gotten a chance because Etsy has like a rule that you can't. Apparently, you have to wait like a week to give people like feedback. But I cannot say more about LoreCom Miniatures. The order was super awesome. The models are awesome, but the order itself timely. Got my stuff out very, very quickly. And was packaged super well. The quality is super awesome. I went on about it in the last video we did, but there are a lot. I've ordered a lot of Etsy stuff on a lot of folks that make models and print models, and I will say with hands down that most of the time, the models come very dirty. You have to do more sanding. You have to do more stuff. But not LoreCom Miniatures. The models were pristine. They were clean. They were sanded. They were ready to go. I literally could just slap my primer on and start painting. So I am over the moon with how everything was. And just the attention to detail with that. And very communicative and all that good stuff. So you cannot go wrong with the folks over there. And like I said, just a great array of products, which is also really cool. Whether it's something like a little bit more specialized like this, or if whether it's specialized like this, or if it's you're looking for just traditional D&D models, or you're looking for some really cool terrain. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm trying to. The models they're just a little bit smaller scale, so I'm trying to get you guys the best view and angle. And I know I'm doing a kind of a chunky job a little bit of like getting you guys into the action. Some of it is because I'm struggling a little bit, and it's nobody's fault, and it's definitely not the model's fault. It's just that you'll find it if you guys are painting more. When you start to paint more types of models, it's like anything else. If you like, if I'm if I'm sitting there and I'm painting, let's say, ooh, it's gonna be a mistake on the other side. Anytime my brush does a hook like that, I always get nervous. When you're painting something like, let's say you're painting GW models, or you're painting, let's say, another company's models. If you paint like a whole army, or you're painting a whole series of them, you start to pick up the flow. So you'll start to see the same. Usually you'll see the same kind of printing, or you'll see the same kind of tropes on each model. So you sort of pick up the flow of like what you're painting. So you can get into a little bit more of a painting groove. But when you're like me, and you sometimes are reviewing and painting different models from different companies, you may get into a point where you're sort of like, you know, finding yourself, you know, trying to sort of assess where are you with a model, or like where are you finding yourself. And that's where I'm kind of at now, where it's like, obviously I know the colors I have to do and everything else, but it's a new model, it's new territory, so I'm like, I'm trying to find my way inside of it. I may change my mind. I don't know if I'll keep her eyes red like that, but I think they look kind of cool. I'm going to do some other stuff to them, but like I said, I want her to have a little bit... I want her to have a little bit of a more maniacal thing, because she is not going to be a very insane... She's not going to be a very sane character in my homebrew campaign. So I'm not going to be making Alice have a sane journey in the world that I'm going to put her in. So I will give you guys a hint to her character. Excuse me. To make her a little bit more D&D focused. I'm going to make her more of like a truth teller or an oracle. But she's also going to like have to defend herself or fight. She's going to have some other aspects to her. So, because I think that is super awesome and cool, and it'll be a little bit of a twist for her as a character. We're going to see if I can use the handle, because I know if I could use the handle, it would be so much better for you guys. So now what I'm doing is I'm just going through and bringing some black into these shadow areas. And you'll see once I start doing that to the bottom, we should see Alice start to pop and the model to pop a lot. And very similar to how I've done it with a lot of the other models, you will also see that Alice will she's not going to take too long to do. And these models are going to be, you know, and obviously these are going to be high level NPCs in the campaign. So I want to make sure you could already see just how better that looks now that I've done that little detail work. Yeah, man, everybody jumps on for like they'll watch me for like a half hour and then they jump out. I don't know why. It's like really, really weird. like GW stuff definitely gets more views, which I guess that's what you guys telling me that you want to see me paint more GW stuff. But I don't know. I think it's nice to paint different stuff, and I want to give indie, like, people like LoreCom miniatures. I want to give indie model makers like a little bit of a platform too, because it's great, and I'm a Warhammer player, and I use, whoa, that could have been really bad if that hit the pot. I definitely play the more major games, but I wanna give some love to the indie guys, like, because if you do RPGs, if you're doing like some of these other games, I think I'm just gonna paint the whole thing blue, and then I'll reassess if I want to come back in and do this. I know she had like a white detail on here. But I want to get the colors right for her first, and then I can come back in. But like, yeah, I get it. I know of other channels out there that they obviously focus on GW because it's GW, so it's more popular, but I don't know. I want to give those smaller folks like some recognition, because as much as I love GW models, there's like all these cooler models out there. Like, there's so many people that are making so many cool, awesome models that you're gonna find in like the Etsy shop or like in there, and you got to give some love to these folks. Like, they're spending time, printing, designing, making, and I want to give them their spotlight too. And especially with the more recent... Sorry, guys. Especially with the more recent, like, GW shenanigans where, I get it. Like, Games Workshop is trying to make their own platform, and they want to, like, make streaming, and they want to do different things on that platform. But in order to do that, they're trying to muscle out like content creators and people who have like been loyal fans and supporters of their stuff for all these years, and like they're now like cease and desisting or like doing stuff to make it so they can't have their channels or they can't have their content. And I'm like, that's super not cool. Like hold on 1 minute. That's not cool. So, like, that kind of stuff is not the greatest to me. So, like, even more so, let's try this. So I'm gonna try giving her 2 little stilts. We'll see if that gives us a little bit more traction, so I can get a little bit more up close and personal with my model, so I could actually start to paint this in a better way. Because I said I did like 3 of these in like 3 hours, but in my current trajectory, if I don't have a good handle on the model, I can't like do the fun stuff I want to do, because I'm continuing. Like, now we're starting to get there. We're starting to get to the level where I want to be, where I can, there we go. Now Alice is starting to look like Alice. But yeah, so like I appreciate if people want me to do like let's say, more GW models, but like, you know, I will do more of them, but I just, you know, I wanna give some love to the other model guys out there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go in with more like skin tone for Alice and a bunch of other stuff, but so far I like where we're starting. This is good stuff. I like having like a more faded Alice color. Let's see what this is like. I'm gonna be very, very strategic because I think this blue is gonna be too. Yeah, it's too bold. What do you guys think? I don't know. I guess it could work. So we'll get like a little bit of that like color. So it'll give us like a little bit of an accent, but it's not going to be... Yeah, so... Oh, I like that. I like that. I like the gradation. So we're going and having a gradation. Yeah, I like that. It was in my thought process to do that from the beginning, but I really, like, dig this. And this color combination I've used before. Yeah, so you guys can kind of see. And what this does is it just provides a little bit more of like a shadow or like an undertone. I'm totally off where I'm going. And you can see the difference when you get it in there. It looks so much nicer. And it just provides like a nice contrast. And you guys can see it there between those two cuffs. So it's like... you know, so and it's that same concept, you know. We're talking about base tones. So we laid down that initial base tone of our color, and then we're coming in with a darker color and our lighter colors, and you can see it just looks so much nicer. And what you can also do, which is a little bit of a cheat, but you can use this, and I do that a lot with my highlights or my shadows, to like cover up bad spots. So like if I went a little too crazy or overzealous in an area, I could sometimes save it very quickly by just like using the shadow or the highlight to like kind of redefine it, which is so you can see here what I've done is I'm just going so now that looks like it's coming off. It created some depth just by having the color off of there. And what I love is you can see I went over some of it, but the black is still staying there because that color, it's all transparent. So it's going to come right over it so you don't have to lose your blacks. So my like dirty Alice is coming together very nicely. Because that's what I was going for. Like, I wanted it to look like Alice. You know, I wanted her to look like she's kind of insane, and she's been hanging out probably in a hut or the woods. You know, and is not doing too well and is kind of losing her mind. That was one of my goals with this. And so far, I'm extremely happy. Now, I had a funny feeling, and I did get bogged down a little bit because Alice has a little bit more detail to her. So I had a funny feeling that it was going to take me an additional minute to paint her. And when I want, yeah, Space Charger Gray, because that's going to be really good for the shadowing on that. And then we're going to do a little bit of work on her face. And you can see already we got a little bit more detail that I'm bringing back into there. So again, you could already see a detail. What I will do is I'm going to bring some white back in just to bring some of that other detail in. Because she should have some like kind of brilliant white areas, but so what I'm doing now is I'm just trying to and again I I have to give credit where credit is due. I love the... There's even, like, tears in this thing. Like, there's such an attention to detail on the sculpt, which I love, and I have to give LoreCom Miniatures like a hands off to them, because it's just super awesome, the detail that's in this model. So, and again, you can check them out on Etsy. So what I'm doing now is I just went in and just threw a little bit of dark color in there, just to give that a little bit more pop and definition. Yeah, a lot of the stuff we're doing now is going to be like super quick little touch-ups and things. So now we're going to work on face. We're going to work on a few little other details. But Alice is looking real good. I really like how this Alice turned out. It's looking real good. Like, Alice looks really maniacal and crazy. And I don't really do, like, I don't really paint a lot of horror models or things like that, but yeah, this is the hardest thing. Yeah, because you can see the minute you put that white in the eye, oh my god, that, like, it totally sells your model. If your model wasn't working beforehand, it works a total about better when you have that. It, like, super works better when you have that glint in the eye, we call that. And I love doing that on my characters. I always did. So now what I'm doing is I'm just trying to get some lighter skin tone. I'm just doing a mixing of just trying to mix up a color that looks somewhat good. Now, what I should be using is a wet palette, which I need to get one of those, because this is how you can keep your mixing colors, so you don't have to keep wasting a lot of paint. A wet palette is great because a wet palette will keep So what I'm doing now is I'm creating a lighter skin pigment, and then I'm going to go in with some natural shading And this is going to be so that I can... So I'm just creating some highlights on her actual skin tone. Just so there are some natural highlights on her, so you can get a little bit more depth in her. But that's really going to be it, because she's not going to have a lot of, like, super duper natural highlights. I just want to create, like, the normal ones, which are going to be on things like her arm. And it's also to replicate, like, a little bit more of the skin, of the, like, natural, like, Disney kind of pigment skin. But you'll see once I go in again with that, it'll look a lot nicer. And then on top of that, I also wanted to just throw in a few, like, just to bring like a tiny bit of highlight, because I wanted it, because this will sell a little bit of the fact that some of her clothing is not like totally dirty. Like, she's got some areas that look white, but not much. This is a little weird. I'm super happy with this, because it makes me super happy, because it looks kind of maniacal, and I'm not gonna lie, I really kind of like that aspect of it. Yeah, so I wanted it to have, like, again, to sell that dirty look, because then that brings it up, and then it's like, oh, okay, her dress is not like totally, it's not totally dirty, but like it looks like it's kind of dirty. Like, she definitely has been, like, not taking care of herself. That's insane. That's really cool. I really like how, I don't know what it is about his miniatures. I like really am like in tune with them, and I really like these like little crazy characters that are in here. All right, so that's Alice. I'm just gonna do a little bit more of the yelp. I think that looks freaking awesome. I really like how that looks. So I'm just touching up some areas that I noticed had some issues. Yeah, the hair, I'm not going to do anything to the hair. I kind of like the way the yellow just naturally came in. Alright, the only last thing is I just want to put a little bit of more shadows. So I want to use a wash to get the face into a better spot. Because I find this technique with the skin tones works really, really well because you do a nice light coat. Oh, I like barely got any paint on here. So if you guys look now, what that'll do is it'll create a little bit more like of a lighter band now, and then I can come back in with the purple because the purple, it went on a little on the light side the first time I did it. You guys can see that's what it looks like on the detail. It's such a small detail that's part of it. Gets tough when you're doing models that have very like fine details like that on the face. Because you're like trying to kind of get where you want to go with it, but you're not necessarily getting exactly that. And I said it before, I mean, the contrast paints work very, very well, but when you're dealing with a model, like this model, it's a little on the more cartoony side, so the detail is not as, you don't have a lot of texture. I was saying it in the wrong fashion. The model itself is very detailed, but it's a cartoony scale and cartoony style. So a lot of the areas of the model are smooth. So when you're using contrast paints, they just, they'll just kind of run down the model, which is why I have to, I wanted to take that time to bring a lot of toning to it and bring highlights and do different things because it's going to build up the actual model. But I am super happy with the way that this looks. This looks super cool, and definitely embodies all of the craziness that I wanted Alice to have. So that is awesome. All right, so Alice is done. Oh, okay, and then the only other thing I'm gonna do. Oh, wait, whoops. Alice is not done. There's no paint left. All right. Oh, I didn't do a lot of stuff on Alice. All right, hold on, guys. I messed up. I didn't actually look up my model and do it the right way. I made a rookie mistake on the bottom of this. So what was my rookie mistake? Well, my rookie mistake was I didn't look at the bottom of the model. So whenever you're painting a model, you always have to look at all aspects of your model. And I thought when I painted it the last time, I had looked at the bottom and everywhere on the model. I didn't. So when I turned it over, I'm like, oh, I didn't paint like... And what I'm going to do now is actually going to help the model a lot. So it's actually better that I did this. Oh, and then I'm looking at like different aspects of it. Now, some of this is, I'm going to call it personal. Some of it is personal. And what do I mean by it's personal? A lot of times with people who do model painting or models, you know, you'll, like what I'm doing now, you'll go back through your model and you'll be like, oh, I see this little like unpainted detail, or I see that I missed a spot or whatever. Now, for some people, they may just go to that and be like, you know what? That's fine. I'll just let it, I'll just let it be. And the idea is that yet, in most cases, it becomes a preference, because certain imperfections in your model or your painting you might see, you might not see. So like, for instance, if I base this, you're not going to see underneath here, but I'll know it's not painted, and that usually drives me bananas. So if I know there's like a big unpainted spot, now that's if it's like something like that, because if the person could lift up the model and maybe see that you didn't paint a certain part, that would drive me crazy. I would be angry the whole time, and I would hate that I did that or I left that. But then there are other imperfections that you have, and you may know it's there, but if it's like virtually like very hard to see, that's where it becomes your call as the painter. What do you want to do? How do you want to like handle the issue? I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to do this off camera. I know that like is the most annoying thing on the planet. I hate when people who do painting videos do what I'm doing. But there's no skill to what I'm doing. I'm literally just taking a big blob of paint and just putting it in here, and I want to just get it done and get it ready. Now, the only thing I got to be careful of is those wonderful little feet of hers, because I don't want to accidentally paint those white little stockings. There we go. So like I said, would a person see that? Maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. Because it'll be based. But I would know it wasn't, so that would make me annoyed. Alright. Alice is done. She's on the done pile. I'm going to let her dry, and then we'll take a look at her a little bit later. But I am super happy with her. I guess we'll move on to... I'm able to do Cheshire Cat next? I don't know. I guess I'll keep going Alice, because we did one, so... Alright, so this idea that I had is wonderful and terrific. What's not wonderful and terrific is when I leave other models on top of my idea. Because then it's just as chaotic as if I didn't have an idea. Alright, so... Yeah, let's do Cheshire Cat. I have so much stuff to paint in here. It's not even funny. I bought so much models from LoreCom miniatures. I have so much to paint. Let's see what we got. There he is. It took me a minute to find him. He's a tiny statured model. He's a fun model though. I'll show you guys the model, and I have a pretty easy idea as to how I want to do his model. So there we go, Cheshire Cat. So this is again from that same series, and you can buy this as a bundle, or you can actually buy the models individually. So if you just want one of them, and you're not crazy like me and doing a homebrew Disney fantasy campaign, you may not want to buy every single fantasy character he has. You should, because they're freaking awesome models. But all right, now I need to look up the Cheshire Cat because I don't remember. I know the Disney one. I mean, this model is far from the form of the Disney one. It is a little bit more, and that's what I appreciate about his models. They are more in line with the original illustrations, which are always fun. Alright, so this is going to be interesting because I may have to actually go get a different contrast color because I don't typically need another purple. I need a lot of greens and blues because I do a lot of orcs and stuff. But I do not normally do a lot of purple. So, and he is not, this is the right color for at least part of him. But he has like a two-tone color if you're going to do the Disney-inspired version of him. Because we haven't had really too many like versions of the Cheshire Cat. Disney has made all of them, but there really has just been the original film's version. The Tim Burton version, Tim Burton went for, in very Tim Burton fashion, he went for a very multicolored kind of, palette. So yeah, so what I'm attempting to do is I'm attempting to base out the purple and then what I'll more than likely do is I'll just throw in some I'll throw in white to lighten it. So I'll get the pigment I need for the lighter areas of the Cheshire Cat. I'm using a big brush. I have to stop using big brushes. I keep doing that. Now, what's going to be interesting is what color do I make his eyes? Um, I don't have a good I don't have a good answer for that yet. Yeah, I mean, and part of why also these are becoming like very quick paint projects is because also it goes without saying. Yeah, all right. So big. All right. So the lines are purple. The big areas are not. So I can start basing out the stripes because part of it is that the cartoony nature of the model makes it a quick paint because, like I said, it's the models are essentially more block colors. They're not gonna be. So that's why they become fast paints, because really all I'm doing is like a lot of base coloring, and then we're just going in and maybe adding a feature, or we're adding in like little effects. So like I did with Alice, it was all base coloring, and then I just went in and started making her look dirty, making her look maniacal, making her look like she had a little bit of a bad day and she had some mental problems. Yeah, I guess I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I don't know. I don't know. I think LoreCom maybe took it, but you know what? I totally forgot that tomorrow is Veterans Day for a lot of folks here in the States. So a lot of my core audience might be taking a break, or maybe they went away, or they got plans. So we're in that season where people. But I don't know. I am getting concerned. Last night was a good showing for my channel. Like, I definitely had a lot of people watching me last night. I need to know what you guys want to see content wise, but I'm thinking that it's looking more and more like you guys. I don't think you really want to see like mainstream stuff, which makes me sad to an extent. Because I wanna. I want to give a shout out to these smaller folks. Or maybe just, I pray to God it's not true, but I hope that tabletop gaming is not like is having like an issue or problem, or it's getting like. Or maybe you guys are just saying that I'm a bad painter. I don't know. Maybe all these things are true. Maybe they're not. I don't know. I'm having a lot of doubt streams lately. I mean, like, but it's funny because last night, like, it was so super awesome that like Mini Wargaming was here. So I think it's just that time of year. I think we're all getting busy. I think people are getting bogged down. I don't think they want to be at their computers anymore. I know that a lot of people are remote working and other stuff. So. And I would love to start these streams a little bit earlier, but I just can't drive my. It's just tough for me to do them earlier because I, like you, have a lot of stuff that goes on during the day. So it doesn't always work into my time frame to start them earlier. All right, you know what? Let's take a little bit of a break from him. I know, I just put a couple of pieces of purple, and I'm like, I got to take a break. So again, for folks that are joining us, this was Alice that we just painted up. I think she came out super awesome. She looks maniacal and crazy. She's got that dirty look. It's super cool. So I'm happy with how she came out. And again, I don't think people appreciate just how small these minis are. But they are pretty small, the detail, because these are, you know, D&D style minis. So there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of little detail packed and crammed in there. So, all right, I'm gonna bring back my Blood Bowl bleachers, which we had not finished yet. So we'll go into building some stuff. So this is not from LexCom Miniatures. This is from another Etsy. Giant Tower makes this particular model set. And of course, the minute I do something that's not painting, then people come back. That's really funny. Oh, is that all she wrote for my for this paint? So hey guys, how are you today? We're doing some painting of some LexCom miniatures. I'm gonna actually get back to it because I think. Oh, I was just gonna glue this one piece of something on, and I will show you guys the model. So this is for a homebrew campaign. LexCom Miniatures, you can find them on Etsy. Oh geez, okay, there was a lot more glue in there than I thought there was. Great, off to a beautiful start already. Okay, sorry guys, I just wanted to put this one thing on so it could set while I was painting. Okay, we're gonna bump that over. We're just gonna bump this over, and I don't want you to go anywhere. I promise I will be painting in just a second. I just want to get this actually to set while I'm doing the painting. All right, cool. So now that front part will set while I'm painting. All right, so we're painting. I'm painting up the Cheshire Cat. That's what I'm working on now. And for folks that are just joining, we painted up Alice. And again, this is their Grimm's Fairy Tale minis from LexCom Miniatures. You can find this on Etsy. And they are super crazy. They're awesome. He's done every single Grimm's Fairy Tale character and most fantasy characters. Kind of taking the stance of, you know, bringing you Disney-esque cartoony models, but definitely based on the Grimm Fairy Tale models. What I'm painting up now is this set of Alice in Wonderland minis. The first video we did, I painted up it was the Mad Hatter, the Mad Hatter, the White Rabbit, and I also did the Ugly Duckling, which his version of the Ugly Duckling had a shotgun, because he's not taking it anymore. So you can check those out, but this is what we're painting up now. And again, I am using loosely using loosely the Disney color scheme. So I am using the color scheme of the Disney characters, and the idea of why I have these models is that we are going to be doing a D&D homebrew where I do a mashup of Disney characters, but in a more traditional D&D setting. Ooh, okay, I'm getting messy. All right, I'm gonna have to do some editing when I lay down that other color, because what I was doing now was I was just laying down the purple, just so I had those areas that I knew had to be the purple versus the light pink. I wanted to have them blocked out so that when I went to go do the main base color, I could just be like, okay, these areas have to be this color, these areas have to be that color, and I figured I can, because I'm going to be blending this with a white to create this. And I do a bad job of saying this, but if you go to Etsy for LexCom Miniatures, you can also buy, of course, these separately. You don't have to buy the whole pack like I did. he sells them as bundles as well as... Okay, I see what... Alright, so I think I have to... I'm going to have to, like, improvise these lines. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of free-form painting. But that's okay. Because he does have the lines there for them to come in, so... But yeah, this is going to be... Very cool model. I love the cartoony nature. Yeah, so I'm gonna sort of free form the lines. Yeah, I think that's what's happening. I think people are... And again, I'm doing this because I'm doing a little bit more of a direct idea of the... I think I can get away with just doing that one line. And I just have to... So I'm trying to do something that looks a lot like the Disney-esque version of it. So I'm going a little all in. I think in his original concept of the model, he had it just indicated lines, more like a Garfield kind of feel. I'm going a little bit on a different tangent with it. So you can see there was only a little bit of modeling, but I want my paint model to look that way, so I'm kind of going a little bit different. Yeah, so for the first coat and for blocking, it looks pretty good. Now, the key is I don't know how I want to do his actual, like... his actual face, but... So what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of... I'm just bringing that dark purple around the eyes because I think I want to have like a transition into the lighter purple. Yeah, there's like little stuff I know I want to do. And there is an aspect of, like, creepiness I am kind of giving these models. Because I think... I don't know. I think they'll look a little cooler if they have that aspect of, like, a little bit of fringe. Versus, like... Because they are kind of maniacal. Versus, you know... Keeping them all nice and cushy. So far, I'm liking where we're going. All right, let's get our mixing on. One of the most important colors in my arsenal, that white that I bought. All right, so first off, I'm going to get a lot of the white. Now, I could also go into my contrast paints. Oh, It literally didn't have any contrast on it. That's interesting. Alright, let's see where we go with this. Perfect. That's the perfect tone. For the Disney version of this character, perfect tone. That's freaking awesome. I'll probably go back into this and just darken this a little bit, but for right now, I'm just going to block it. Yeah, see, damn you. This is a tricky color because it's a tricky color because it's a very subtle color. It's a very subtle, it's a very, very subtle color. Like a very, very subtle color. So, and I may go with this color for right now, and then I probably am gonna go in and maybe play with darkening it, just because it's very, very light. But you guys will see why I'm doing it this way, because with the contrast, if I go in light like this, it'll actually, it'll be a helping hand for me later on, because then I can layer this with more color, which is why it's great. And this is why I want a wet. This is why I need a wet palette. This color is already drying on me. And then this becomes the tough part when you're painting, because as an artist, what was that? As an artist, it's hard because as an artist, you're trying to make that same color over again. And what you'll start to find is that it's going to be very hard to do that, because you'll get things that'll look similar, But it may now, like, so when I go to do this, let's see. I don't know, that actually looks pretty good. Sometimes what'll happen is you'll get a color, and as an artist, it can be very hard to mix the same color over again. The thing that's nice about model painting is that you can be a little bit more scientific with your color mixing. But like I was saying before, that's why a wet palette is such a good idea. Because a wet palette, the idea behind it is that the palette stays wet so your paints don't dry out. But we're getting pretty good here. Alright, and then I'm doing something that was bad, which is... I'm just trying to make a lot of it because I know I'm going to have to keep going into it because I need to. I got a lot of him to still paint, and I have to. But like you'll see, and you probably are already seeing it. Like, there is a slight variation. There's a slight variation on all the different colors that I painted. But because I'm going to go over this and essentially, quote unquote, like, dirty it up, it's not the biggest deal in the world if it's not, like, perfect. But you can see, like, there's already a variation, which is why I wanted that tone and that tone to be similar, because I knew this was going to happen when I started mixing it. But that's okay. Yeah, now the name of the game is I'm just trying to go to all the areas and just lay this color down so I can work with it. And then I'll go in and I'll like fix all of this because like which in retrospect probably should have mixed this color first and then did the purple. It's usually bad to do what I did, which is to do your detail on top, because what I could have just did was freeform the purple on top of it. But purple with contrast is a tough color because it's a lighter color, so I don't know if it would have applied to it as well. Like now I can actually go in but definitely got the Cheshire Cat feel on it. Like, it does, you know, it is looking very good for a Cheshire Cat model. Like, it is, and it looks, you know, I got the color scheme right. I got all of that stuff right. So, you know, we got to still work on some aspects of the model, but he's definitely walking out. I can literally paint this whole thing because even the claws I can redo later. With the other color that I want to do him in. But yeah. So I'm happy with this because I got my color laid out. Sorry guys. Trying to find the best angle that I can both see, and then I can get you guys into the action too. But yeah, all I'm trying to do now is just cover all the areas that I have to. So like I said, we're blocking just to make sure that everything's getting hit with that same color while I have it active, because I don't want to stop and then have a situation where a color has been missed. Because in this model, a lot of the name of the game is going to be a lot of free painting, where I'm going to have to go back in and, you know, I'm going to have to form out his the stripes and the details. And like I said, and like I said, I'm going to want to do a little bit more. I'm sure, like, highlighting and shadows, but a lot of that's going to be just because I know this is a little bit lighter. I just wanted to give, like, a little bit of a swirl effect with my paintbrushing, which, by the way, we don't really talk about that a lot, but that's another aspect of, like, painting that you definitely want to think about, which is that idea of, like, paintbrush strokes. So people ask me a lot, like, why I don't do airbrushing, and this is part of why, because there is an organic thing that happens when you do things with paintbrush strokes. There's a different feel that models have, and what it does is it gives you, in a lot of cases, a very organic feel, and a feel that I really like when it comes to models. So I'm a big fan and component of, and then that's why I did what I did, because then, you know, now it's just working those lines, and I can play with how I want those lines to look. And so, but already we got a pretty nice thing going. Like, I already like the direction that he's going in. Sorry guys, I took him away from you because there was a couple of little details that I wanted to just get done really quick, because they're like little touch-up things. But very, like, and this is what I love about these models. I don't know what it is about his models. They're just so easy to paint. And I think I said it earlier. It's like a lot of it too is that I'm using Disney tropes and Disney coloring and all kinds of stuff. So, like, there is a little bit of, you know, the reason it's easy is because I'm very well aware of these characters and I know what they're supposed to look like. And so it also is like a cartoony painting. So, like, when I do cartoon coloring, I do comic books and other stuff, which you guys can check out on my Patreon. I'm developing my own indie comics, and I'm in the process of getting all the strips together and like getting it out to you guys content wise. But it's a pretty good amount of stuff. I'm wondering. Oh, I still have more of it? Yeah, baby. Oh, that's awesome. If I still have more of it. Because I just realized I didn't paint a certain... No, it's too big of a brush. What's going on is water. It's not actually painting on it. Annoying. I missed it. It's my fault. And now the paint dried. It's got no paint on it. Ah! I didn't want to have to make more of it. God damn it. It's so annoying. Alright, sorry guys. I know, I'm doing like a terrible job with like keeping stuff in focus today. Alright, I think I'm going to just check myself out here, but I think I got everything that needs to be in the lighter tone so I can do other stuff with him. Alright. Now, I also don't know what you guys are thinking as far as like if you guys are digging this content. I really need to know that, and I hope if you guys are watching this after the fact, I'd love for you to like direct message me or let me know like keep it up. Do you want and honestly, the other thing too is I'd love to know like when is a good time for me to be streaming. Like, are you guys, for some of you out there that, because I know there's a lot of you out there that you know, I feel like have or were watching me, and I mean obviously life changes and everything happens and people just get busy, and I know that happens too. And you know, some people they find it interesting to watch a streamer like me, and then they get fickled with it. But I've noticed lately that there's been a kind of decrease in the amount of people watching. And you know, I'm one of those guys who loves feedback. I love when you guys, you know, obviously I love when you guys are here and contributing to the stream. Like if you're part of the show or you're here and you're talking with us. It's always more fun, you know, when I have you guys with me and asking questions. So I always love that. But yeah, if there's Jesus Christ, I keep not putting the model like in your field of vision, and it's like really bad. I'm like doing a terrible job of keeping it. The problem is these models are like really, really small. So it's like hard for me to keep the model in like focus because so I know that seems crazy, but I'm trying to get the eyes well done so I can start to figure out what color do I want the actual eyes to be. So I don't know if I'm going to get to my 3 tonight because even though the Cheshire Cat, you might be sitting there at home thinking this is like a simple paint, like he's only got a few colors, because I have to do all the striping. It's a lot of like freehand brushwork, so that always gets a little like interesting because you have to freehand the brush to make it like a little bit more but so far I really do like how he's coming out. He's coming out really cool. But yeah, what you guys are seeing me doing now is I'm just going back in and bringing that line work back in. Now that I got that other established color in there. But it's looking like the the color match is on point. Like just throwing a little white and mixing some white in there, the Cortex white into essentially it's their undead purple. That's what that is. I think it's called Margos purple. Yeah, that's what it is. So just doing a little quick mix of Margos purple with some Cortex white. It gave me that other shift and vary in tone. So I could create the variation for the 2 types of purples that the Cheshire Cat is most well known for in the Disney rendition, the classic Disney rendition of Alice in Wonderland. Now, I don't know, and obviously that would be that is of course not. He doesn't have yellow teeth. He has very white teeth in the animated film, but I wanted to make him I wanted to give him a little bit of a more maniacal presence and look. Because personally, I think that that's an interesting way to do him. There was a thought when I was originally going to paint him that I was going to do I think we're going to do him a two-tone eye color. Because I think that would be kind of interesting and cool. And give him a little bit more of the craziness that he's a little bit more associated with. And what's cool about doing that too is that it pays a nod and an homage to now like the Tim Burton-esque movie that they did. For folks that are not familiar with it, but when they did now he's got a little bit more character, and he looks a little bit more maniacal, a little bit more crazy. So I like that. All right, I'm gonna let him dry for a sec. I'm going to clean up my paints because I'm doing a bad job of cleaning them up and putting their caps on, which I want to make sure that happens. I like to always do a benchmark like cleaning. So you take that minute to like clean up anything you have that's outstanding, clean up anything that's going on your painting table. And we'll see from there. But so guys, I may call it at that because we've been painting for about 2 hours now. But this is where we got to with our, this is where I got to with my Cheshire Cat. So this is the beginning of that paint job. We'll definitely paint some more of him. Although I may just finish him up off camera. Just so I can paint through a couple of these and you guys can see him on the next week's stream. Because I think we're going to do some more LoreCom. And then this was Alice, just so you guys can see what Alice looked like. I really love how this came out. Alice took a little bit more time. It took me about an hour to paint her, but I think the result is just really nice. It's definitely a maniacal, crazy Alice. It's going to fit well in my theme of just a not so okay Alice. That is having some problems and issues. So I really like how that came out. Cheshire Cat, I think, is following suit of being another nice paint. And in general, I'm just having a ton of fun painting these LoreCom miniatures. And please, as again, to the credit of that studio, you can find them on Etsy. I did a full video of the whole order, and I'm going to do another one when my other stuff comes in. Which should be coming in soon. I have some more models. I'll do a little review of those so we can take a look. Yeah, I'm super excited for this homebrew campaign. We're starting to talk about stories. We're starting to talk about character creation. So, and if you guys want to come to the next stream, I will definitely go into that in more detail with all of you. But I'd love to talk strategy. That if you guys have questions about creating your own homebrew and rules, I'd love doing a show on that as well. And as always, you guys can come and be with us by following the channel and by signing up for notifications. I'd love it if you guys did. And then also, as always, please check out my website, Patreon, and tip/donation button. That monetary support helps a long way. I know monetary supporting us might be tough right now for some folks. If that is, just share this out with others. Tell them about our channel. Tell them about our Facebook, our YouTube, and our other social media. And if you yourself find this fun and want to know more and like what you saw, please consider following so you can be part of the community and come and join us. And we do at least 3 painting videos a week. We're going to do our League of Infamy board game play. So we're going to do or spotlight a board game or try to start spotlighting board games every week or campaigns, RPG campaigns on Thursday. And this is the week I'm going to be throwing in, I think on Friday, a mix of me doing some original artwork. So you're going to see that as well. This channel does a lot of stuff. I do game playthroughs, anything geeky I do, but it's also a creation channel. It's about art and creation. and having some fun. So please, please, please consider following, consider sharing, and consider coming with us next time. And I'll see you at the next stream. All right, take care, everybody. I'll see you very, very soon.